Okay, so now we go to Capricorn, guys. And Capricorn keyword is I use, and it's the natural ruler of the 10th house, the midheaven. And if you don't know, the 10th house has a lot to do with career and public image. And that's the key thing here. Ever since our series of 10 signs, with starting from Aries and the first house, these are all interrelated. Aries talks about the first house, second house is Taurus, third house is Gemini. All of these are all interconnected. And so now we are dealing with the 10th house. Also, the sign of Capricorn is a sign of hard work, is a sign of career. And this is the reason why you guys would notice that a lot of Capricorn, they put all their energy into work. They always need to work hard over something. It's always done through effort and power. And yeah, it has a lot to do with authority. It's quite different with Leos. Leos also has a lot to do with authority and having power over things. But with Leos, it's really more of I have control over you. I say this and you do it. But with Capricorn, I needed to do everything from scratch. It's like building a house uh, from a wood or a cement or whatever that they use. They're going to be building it in the most traditional way. So it has a very strong foundation. It has a lot to do with public image as well. So they care a lot about how other people sees them. What is the effect of doing this to that person? They lack a lot of the emotional side of life. So uh, so they tend to be, I would not say harsher, but very insufficient. They are unable to understand the person in a very emotional point of view, I would say. So you would notice that a lot of cancers tend to be really, really nice to other people. So if you are, for example, a woman, you fancy not sorry, I almost said sorry, Scorpio, but you almost fancy a Capricorn person because he's nice. He looks very charming. He looks very very businessman like. And a lot of women nowadays really like a person who dresses well, who vibrates an energy as if I'm capable to marry you type of man. So they would notice that this person is really, really nice to people and they like that about that person. But in reality, a lot of Capricorns are nicer to other people outside, but tends to be very harsh with the people inside. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is their family, their closest ties together. So a lot of times you would see Capricorn people are known to be street angels and house devils because they tend to be very very demanding at home. If they are irritated, they tend to speak it out at times bluntly. Even if it's their parents, their mom, that sort of stuff, they can be very, very harsh to them. But they're not doing this in a way that they are trying to hurt them. It's just the way that they are. So, in short, when it comes to public image, it's as if their public image is their work. So, I have to do this, I have to do that. But when it comes to home, um, that is the time wherein they show their true self when they are pretty much relaxed. It's just that thought of I've been so stressed all day, so can you just stop and not talk for a while? Can you just shut up? There is that connotation. I'm not saying that a lot of every Capricorns are gonna do something like that, but it has that connotation that they tend to be harsher with the people within their family zone, this kind of stuff. And they tend to have some form of cling to the materialism kind of stuff. And also Capricorns has a lot to do with foundation. This is also the reason why they are being linked to our bones, teeth, our teeth and skin overall. Because it's something, the skin is what we visibly see and outside. The bone has a lot to do with the foundation inside. So yeah, it has a lot to do with that. And also, this is one of the reasons why the 10th house is like the bigger vision. Well, not really vision, but the bigger version rather of the sixth house. The sixth house is also has to do with work, but with the sixth house, it's like having to do with service. But with the 10th house, it has to do with big businesses, big organization, that sort of stuff. Great strength. And so, yeah, um, again, it has a lot to do with duties and responsibilities because bear in mind, with great power comes great responsibilities. And it is the same with Capricorn. Also, their keyword is I use. How are you going to use this? They need to be productive. They always need to be doing something of importance that, you know, that you can say that, this day came out to be productive. I was able to do this, I was able to do that, those kinds of stuff. Again, it's the 10th house. And if you don't know, the 10th house also can tell us a lot about what you can attain in this world and what you will fail or lack to attain in this world as well. So, yeah, they tend to be very ambitious. And Capricorn is also the ruler of Saturn, so it has a lot to do with karma. So, if you have a Capricorn sign in you, you would notice that there is always hard work in your life because it is a zodiac sign that is always filled with a lot of tests because it's as if the soul is having a form of journey or adventure going to spirit, that sort of stuff. And that's all just what we will that's what we will be all encountering in this lifetime. It's just that Capricorn people tends to be of an old soul. So, you know, whenever a sign is has the ability to be an old soul, there is more struggles in life. And it's not because things are unfair, it's just that you are much more capable to rise above those problems. Unlike those that are of a young soul kind of people, they also have their own set of issues and problems, but they will not be able to surpass things that a Capricorn can. That sort of scenario. They also love traditional stuff. They tend to like keep antiques and all the old methods tried and tested. That is what they would want. So if you have a Capricorn ascendant, you will probably notice that you don't like the modern situation way too much. You would fancy a lot about um, the tried and tested traditional method. So regardless on what kind of field that you are in, you would always cling to the traditional method of it. And you are very, very disciplined. A lot of Capricorns are very disciplined. And I kind of feel that, it's a good trait, but it's just that, sometimes makes me want to tell them to, hey, try to relax and let loose, try to have fun for a while, because that's the thing, all work and no fun becomes really boring. So I'm not gonna lie, but a lot of Capricorn people tends to have a boring side to them. Well, not really boring, but it's because most of their focus in life are more on the serious stuff. It's all serious, and if you are someone who has a lot of fire signs in them, fire, water, or air, you would want to have some fun. And a lot of Capricorn rarely has fun, but maybe they do have fun in their own way, but it's not going to be in the same wavelength like if you're an Aries or if you are a Sagittarius. The fun and adventure that you crave is probably not will not be on the same wavelength as with the Capricorn, but it's going to be depending. I'm not gonna say that it's the same for every sign that I've mentioned, but again, to know someone accurately, you would need to see their birth chart because there's their ascendant, their moon, and other of the visible planets will play an important role about that. So yeah, they can be really really cold, especially if their sun and Saturn is afflicted. It can be really harsh and it's kind of hard to deal with it. Because the sun, especially with men, has to do with your very core personality, and with men, it has a lot to do with their ego. So if that is afflicted in their chart, they can be extra cold, or the term I would be using is cruel. So yeah, and really, they're very much if you have a lot of afflicted signs, and you are a Capricorn, the way for you to heal this is through love, through your Venus. You can really heal whatever it is that you needed to heal through love, through showing affection, through showing compassion to other people, to being more caring to people, and again, as the saying goes, love is the only thing that is capable to dissolve arrogance, to dissolve anger, to dissolve a lot of the rigid things in life. And that goes the same with most issues that are more on the Capricorn side of life. So, yeah, Capricorns do need to rest. But they are very resourceful people. So if you are, working with a Capricorn, you would know that, no matter what happens, something always gets fixed. So yeah, and they are very persistent people. Even if they are going to do things alone, it's not gonna bother them. They're still gonna work hard for it until they get what they want, until they reach their goal. So that's really a good trait about Capricorns. Thank you.